Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video we're going to be looking at some long-awaited responses from FINRA. We're also going to be doing an update on GNS and also looking at earnings of Nvidia, which were quite positive. So before we make a start, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So a headline here from CNBC is JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon on the Fed, we lost control of inflation. So there is still a little bit of nervousness with regard to inflation, and we can see here what it states is JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said on Thursday the Fed has lost some control of inflation, but noted the US economy continues to show some signs of strength. In terms of the comments, these have just come after one day when the Fed released minutes from its January the 31st to the Feb 1st meeting, which showed that members remain resolved in the fight for inflation, which is still not yet fully under control. So let's have a look at what's happening in terms of the market today. In terms of the heat map here, we can see most sectors are down except for energy and semiconductors. So if you look at Nvidia there, up close to 12% right now at time of editing. So that's one stock that we'll be looking at shortly as well. I'd like to start by having a look at yesterday's Q&A with the SEC Chair Gary Gensler, and this was hosted by David Lauer. David Lauer is a person who did come into the spaces earlier. From a personal point of view, I personally don't trust him, but let's see what's happening in terms of the space. So one of the responses that I made in the chat with regard to the space is he's titled the space "We the Investors Second Q&A with the SEC Chair Gensler." So what I've stated here in response to this so-called Mr. David is that we the investors of MMTLP demand free and fair markets. We demand our true trading days back and all shorts close their positions. And that's targeted to Gary Gensler. Please read the stories of investors who lost their pensions, income and livelihoods. If you have any decency, you will speak up for them. So unfortunately, I don't think he has any decency, but let's have a look at some other responses. John's Flowers has stated here, ask Gary why he doesn't enforce naked shorting rules or threshold lists. Again, Gary is not going to reply to that. Diamond A has stated Gary Gensler was not held to any account, any questions which were very poor. I agree, David is not a perfect person to ask questions. He's not going to be probing, he's not going to be direct, and he's not going to get straight to the point. The questions will be very, very soft, and that's not what we want. Slevin has stated here, Gary is a liar, but you've spelled liar wrong. You've stated it here with an E, so Gary is actually a liar as in L-I-A-R. And finally, Zenny at the bottom said, honestly, David Lauer, do you think Gary actually answered a single question? And if so, which one? I don't think Gary answered any questions. Gary was just there to do his job, to show that he is there responding to investors, but he's basically talking not from his mouth. And Apocalypse here has stated, let's talk about the rules, shall we? So I don't think Gary wants to talk about the rules. Here are the rules presented by Apocalypse. SEC rule, final rule 1, regulation of dark pools and alt trading systems, ATS. So the rule is 304A part 4, suspension, limitation or revocation of the exchange. This rule allows the SEC to ban, halt, limit, restrict or revoke access entirely to any alternative trading systems or pools. But more importantly here, the SEC can fully enforce this rule at any time for a period of 12 months. So I don't think they're going to enforce it if it means they get themselves into trouble. And finally, this is a post that I shared earlier as well. This is in response to David, who's quite proudly stated here, the New York Times saw our Q&A with Gary yesterday. It's encouraged to see our dialogue being elevated to the same level as SIFMA and other participants. I don't think there was much of a dialogue. I think it was just wishy-washy conversation, not going straight to the point as it should be. Individual investors will help to end these abusive market practices. Well, not if you're asking the questions, Dave, because you're not probing enough. But what I've stated here, well, tagging in the New York Times, if you want to follow up with an authentic piece on Gary Gensler interview, please read all the comments and you will see 95% of the comments were about one issue. Please address that one issue. This is for the New York Times. Urgently, investors have lost their pensions, lives, savings, property and jobs. So don't just look at what Gary said, read the comments, look at what the investors have stated, and if you are an honest media outlet, you will do your job and present the facts. Let's now have a look at one of the responses received from FINRA. So shout out here to Steve, who stated here, finally received a response from FINRA Ombudsman Office in regard to my MMTLP complaint dated 14th of December 2022. And this was after following up 3 times for a response and nothing surprising here. So let's have a look at this response from FINRA. And it states here, dear Mr. Porter, as you know, you contacted FINRA. We are an independent, neutral, confidential resource that reviews and addresses concerns about FINRA. Well, this thing about independent and neutral is a joke, which is not funny. Our mission is to promote fair process at FINRA, fair administration and more information. That's another joke that's not funny. And they go on to say, we appreciate you sharing your concerns regarding MMTLP. If you've not received your shares to date, we recommend you contact your broker to resolve the concern. If the firm does not have any satisfactory resolve, you have the option to file a complaint using FINRA's investor complaint portal. So it looks like a bit of a wishy-washy reply. I am fairly sure they have not replied or responded to any of Steve's complaint. This is pretty much a standard reply with no substance and no addressing of any of the issues. A second response received here is from Ryan Gearing. So what he stated here, so FINRA responded but ignored the entire question about why they issued a U3 halt and what they are going to do or instruct with regard to Schwab. So pretty much a similar response here, and what they've stated to Mr. Gearing here is, dear Mr. Gearing, your email was forwarded to FINRA's Office Ombudsman. We are independent, neutral, confidential resource that reviews and addresses concerns regarding FINRA. Our mission is to promote fair process, so it looks like they're not doing that. We appreciate your concerns, and what they're basically doing is passing the buck and say, if you have a complaint, use FINRA's investor complaint portal. So this document provides it. So this is a completely useless reply with absolutely nothing of substance, so a pathetic response. Let's have a quick update on GNS, and Roger James Hamilton has just posted, and he states here, Genius Group today published a guide to claim $10 NFT coupon. Step 1, have shares of GNS on the record date 28th of February. T+2 shares today or Friday, settlement Tuesday, continues in the comments. So let's have a look at the image that is shared here as well. So the other details here shared include, following GNS's dual listing approval on Upstream Exchange, the coupon will be issued to shareholders on 15th of March. Shareholders they can then redeem the NFT for gems, which can be used as discounts on courses, products across 4 campuses and partner portal. It also states here the dates and timeline for each step of the process, together with the current product range and GEM discounts available, are detailed on the following slides. So go ahead and check those slides out. What I'd now like to do is finish off by having a look at the earnings for Nvidia. So we did share this on our stock news channel in the Discord, where it states here Nvidia soars 15% after upbeat earnings, and there is also a positive outlook for AI. So headline here from MarketWatch, Nvidia adds to AI hype with new cloud-based service, stock jumps on the forecast. So the recent jump is also tied in with the ChatGPT, and this underscores how much more money the chip maker can make with the software which is being added to major cloud providers' offerings. And now let's have a look at the figures and data for their earnings. So in the middle paragraph here, we can see that Nvidia forecast first quarter revenue approximately $6.37 billion to $6.63 billion, whilst analysts on average were estimating earnings of 85 cents a share on revenue of $6.31 billion. So they have beat the revenue, which is good. Adjusted gross margins for the fourth quarter came in at 66.1%, down from 67%, so obviously costs are higher, but in the final paragraph here we can see that they've reported fourth quarter net income $1.41 billion or 57 cents a share, compared with $3 billion or $1.18 a share. So overall the markets have responded very, very well for this, and this is in part due to the potential from AI and going forward the potential for huge income. So this has also been reflected in the share price. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.